video, we're going to look at how easy it is to add a bearing line to a SARTopo map. SARTopo allows us to add a bearing line several different ways. We can go over to the Add a New Object, click that. We'll get a drop down and see bearing line is there. We could have also gone up to Add, get the same drop down, and bearing line is there. We can also add a bearing line by right-clicking our mouse, New, bearing line there. I wouldn't recommend doing it this way though, because you're not really sure where you're placing the bearing line until you create it. And with SARTopo, it's difficult to move a bearing line. Actually, you can't move a bearing line once it's been created. So I'm going to go back to the Add a New Object method. So Add a New Object, click bearing line, brings up a little dialog box here. We can enter the coordinates. In this case, I'm just going to paste them from a text that the team sent me. And then the team is going to give us a bearing, so 190 degrees. They said it's magnetic. I'll change that to magnetic. The range isn't too critical. I'll just change that to 2 miles from 5. I would recommend you change the color, since SARTopo is default red for everything. So I'm going to pick a different color here. I'll go with blue, purple. And then it's important to put a label. So we'll just say Team 1 at 1100 hours was when they did it. So I've now got coordinates. I've got the bearing. It's magnetic, a range. Change the color. I've got a label, so I can go ahead and hit create. And there's my bearing line. So that's really all there is to it, to creating a bearing line in SARTopo. As I mentioned before, you really can't change the bearing line once you've created it. So you want to get it right the first time. If you look, like coordinates has now become comments, so changing the coordinates is not going to do any good. But because it is so easy to create a bearing line, if it's not in the right place or you did something wrong, just delete it and create a new bearing line.